The last game we're going to talk about is the Grizzled, a cool mini or not. It's not a mini game.
Yes.
It's a small little cooperative card game, basically, where you take 25 cards, shuffle them up, and the rest of the cards go off in a separate pile. And the idea is you need to push your luck throughout a turn in order to clear through. It's like a war, basically, and you're trying to push through all these obstacles in the war. And the more stuff you do on a turn, the less the main deck goes down.
Right.
Because every turn that you stop, more cards get piled on top of it. So you need to get as many out of your hands as possible. And then if the card, shows up and has like a little bird on it, you win the game as long as no one has any cards in their hand. And these cards basically are, you put one down and it has a couple of different, there's 6 different symbols essentially. There's 3 symbols and then 3 environmental things.
Yes.
The card has an art of either snow or rain or clear day or nighttime.
Oh, is it night? Okay.
Yeah, but it also have a symbol like a whistle and then
gas mask,
a gas mask,
bullet.
and a shell or a belt. Yeah,
Right.
I think it's like a mortar shell.
Okay.
So anyway, you've got all that stuff, or maybe it is a bullet. I don't know. Anyway, so if it has like nighttime, it's going to have one of those other symbols. If it's clear day, then it probably has 2 of the other symbols. There's always 2 threats, is what they call them, on each card.
Right.
Except for some that have all 6 or maybe 4, things like that. And the idea is on your turn, you have a couple of different actions. You have a character card where you can play him. You can use his lucky ability and it gets rid of a card in the middle. It's like a tableau kind of thing. And then we'll come back to that. But one of the basic action is play a card in the middle of the table. And as long as not 3 of any one thing or threat is displayed, you get to keep going. So if I play nighttime with a whistle, and then it's Matt's turn and he plays nighttime with a bell, well, we can't play another nighttime card because we're going to fail the mission. And when you fail the mission, you immediately shuffle all those cards back onto the main deck or whatever, and then you add new cards with a minimum, but essentially you're adding new cards based on how many cards all the players have total.
Right.
And so you can see that you need to get the cards out of your hand, because if you end a round with 6 cards in all the players' hands, you add 6 more cards to the deck. And if you end it was 0, then you only add, I think, 3 or 4, whatever the minimal is.
Right.
Now, one of the other cool things about the game is the speech tokens and things like that. So there's other special abilities that you can do when you pass around. You'll get these speech tokens, and you can use those to clear cards and different things. Or you call out a threat, and everybody gets to discard a card from their hand.
Right.
There's some other cool things too. We won't get all the rules, but the major thing I wanted to talk about was when you're the leader of the round, you get to decide how many cards all the players get. And so that's the pressure luck aspect of it as well, because you're like, well, we could take 6 cards a piece.
Whoa.
But you know how crazy that's going to be, because you're talking about you can't get 3 of any one symbol.
Right.
So I think that is by far the coolest thing about it.
Yeah.
I mean, not to diminish anything else about the game, but that is a just awesome cooperative mechanism.
It's a big decision.
Yeah, it's a huge decision.
Yeah. So the game was fun. I think you compared it kind of like Hanabi. You're not really supposed to be talking and using table talk to figure out what everyone's got. I mean, otherwise then it'd be pointless. But it's a lot of fun trying to guess what, especially doing it was a speech token, right? You call out like night card.
Yeah, then everybody gets a discard, but you can't talk about it.
Exactly.
And I think that's the big thing is like it doesn't really go that deep into the tabletop aspect of it and the rules, but it just makes sense.
Right.
If you know what's in my hand, then you know what to call out.
Yeah.
Or you know
what to play.
I have a ton of night cards.
Yeah.
Or if you say something like, you may not want to play any bullets, meaning that I only have bullet cards.
Right.
So I don't know, like you have to limit yourself. You almost have to just be quiet and play this game and just do your action and let the next person go. Another thing about the actions is there's a support token. When you one of your actions is you can drop out of the round, most likely because you're out of cards or you don't have anything you can play that won't fail the mission.
Right.
So when you drop out, you get to take a support token and you put it face down on your player card to show that you dropped out. Now, the thing with that is that support token is either going to go to its left or right. And then there's some other ones that you shuffle in that can go left twice and right twice because you can play the game up to 5 players.
Right.
Now, that's cool, but the more players you have, the crazy hard it is to figure out who you want to support. The reason you're supporting people is because you have these other cards, not just those threat cards, but you also have these hard knock cards, I believe they are.
Something like that.
And what those are is like they're text-based and they go in front of you. And there's stuff like, phobias or whatever. And it basically adds some of those symbols as well, but they're permanent. They stay in front of you unless you get rid of them.
Right.
Or some might be like you can't drop out if you have 3 or more cards in your hand. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. There's special abilities. 99% of them are bad. There's one that's Merry Christmas, and that's good. Mm-hmm. All the rest of them are bad. And the way that you get rid of these is at the end of a round, everybody reveals their support token and hands it to the player on their left or right, or left twice, or right twice. And whoever gets the most support actually gets to choose one of 2 actions. They can restore their character card with their lucky ability or whatever, or they can remove 2 of those hard knock cards. The side note to that is if you ever have 4 or more on any one person at the end of a round, after you get supported, you lose the game, period.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways to lose this game, much like most cooperative games. There's only one way to win, tons of ways to lose.
Yep.
And the funny thing about it is I started this game, started passing out cards, shuffling the deck. We haven't won this game. We played it like 5 times, and we had the easiest time because I played it with you and my cousin.
Right.
And we just won.
Mm-hmm. And
I was like, I promise this game's hard.
Yeah. It's all dependent on your deck.
It is.
And so, I mean, there's a little bit of luck based on that, but I mean, that's probably most of the time any kind of cooperative game is really dependent, Samurai Spirits, what's coming out.
I don't think that game's possible.
We haven't, but depending on how long we can go is dependent on the deck, though. So it's...
Yeah. Yeah, Samurai Spirit's made in such a way to where, like, it's a numbers game and you have to play that numbers game, so to speak, but you're at the whim of whatever got added in. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like this, too, because, like, I think for the most part, when we played the Grizzled with me and you, all the threat cards that had more than 2, like, did not even show up.
Right.
Or we had that, or I think maybe 1 did, and we had a way to get rid of it immediately.
Yeah.
And whereas I played it a few more times, and there's quite a few in that deck. Well, maybe there's like 5 or 6 or something like that. And the deck's not that huge. So, I mean, they always came out. I mean, maybe we were just super efficient, lucky, first time luck, whatever.
Right.
But there's an expansion coming out.
What's it adding?
I have no clue.
Yeah, no, okay.
Nah, I read it a few days ago or a week ago or something, but...
I mean, I don't know what else you could do to that, though, but maybe they'll surprise us.
Yeah, I think they're adding another layer to the game.
Yeah.
You would have to.
Right.
So
you can't just add cards.
You can't just add cards. Right. Well, that actually would just hurt you.
Yeah. The impossible edition. So.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the Grizzled. So